Gentlemen, I'm sure you have stretched your legs, have exercised and chatted with your friends and catch up on part of the discussion in the last class. I would like us to go one house, please. I would like to introduce the next facilitator for the next class we're taking in the person of Ms. Tony Odobo, FSM. Ms. Tony is a data analyst tutor, a strategist and administrator, a virtual assistant in training, an entrepreneur with niche in printing, branding, signage, homegrown farming, and sales of pro-nourished dry foods. She had a decade work experience with the banking industry, Sterling Bank precisely, where she rose to be head of operations at the GRA branch, Port Harcourt, Rivers State, before she left to fully pursue her passion in business. She's a member of many professional bodies, a fellow of the Institute of Strategic Management of Nigeria, where she's a member of the Rivers State chapter and former chairman ISMN Charter Rivers State Training Academy, a member of CPON, a two-term chairperson of NNEW, NECA's Network of Entrepreneurial Women Rivers State chapter, a member of the National Executive Council of NECA. She is the MD of Melto Universal Services Limited, On Time Global Services, and administrator of Fresh Fuel Empowerment Initiative, a body devoted to business trainings, especially for women in business. Presently, she is a facilitator with Skill Ahead Academy, Port Harcourt, where she passionately transfers her knowledge of data analytics to their students. She's passionate about instituting structures, systems, and strategy for corporate and business success. She has featured in radio programs and trained some NECA registered companies' employees on their pre-retirement packages, where she deploy her ILO knowledge of SYB at the Start Your Business. She can be contacted on toyinka@gmail, and then our phone number will be displayed at the end of this program, of this session. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and let's welcome Mrs. Tony Adobo, FSM.
Yeah, thank you so much. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me. So for the next couple of maybe 1 hour or thereabout, we will be having a conversation around the topic that is already on the board. And, there's this thing about, it's a natural thing, it's a human thing, when you're having trouble when the sun is out. There's tendency for the human element to want to creep in. And as at the last time I checked, there's no medical doctor here, whether in this hall or within the facility. So I just want to plead that when Mr. Sleep comes, you may just, maybe stand by the corner. I don't mind if you, be like a soldier like me, but just try that you don't allow sleep to get in the way of what we will be looking at this afternoon. And I also want to mention that whilst we're here, I will want us to engage interactively. The topic is an interesting one. The slides are also interesting, and it's actually something that will call you out, whether I will call your name or not, whether I ask a question directly or not, but it's such that it will bring out something out of you. So I want to employ that we are all part of what we'll be doing this afternoon. So that's out of the way. I will also want us to be guided by my line of thought, which I'm also presenting to every one of us here. And I have 2 quotes that will help to do that. One is from the late co-founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, who said, "You cannot mandate productivity. We can't make it compulsory. We can't, hammer people or keep slamming it on people merely, but you can do that when you provide tools to let people become their best. That means when you extend those workable tools to them, at the end of the day, you will expect a higher level of productivity. So it's possible to have set of workforce staff strengths that are highly productive, that their performance level is on the high when you give them the tools. Now, the second one is by the co-founder of Virgin Group, and he said, clients do not come first. Clients do not come first. Employees come first. In your agency, intervention agency, NDDC, you have the host community as one of your clients that you service. You have your vendors, the contractors. They are part of your clients that you service. But what Richard is saying, that those people, they do not necessarily come first. They are stakeholders. We are not denying the fact that they have stakeholders. In fact, you can say they are primary stakeholders. We're not denying that. But what he's saying that our focus, our attention will be on this class of stakeholders whom he refers to as employees. And that is one of the reasons why we're here. So we want to shift our focus away from the other stakeholders, the host communities, the vendors, the contractors, but to ourselves. By that I mean to we, the staff, employees of the agency, NDDC. And why are we looking at them? Why are we looking at ourselves? And interestingly, the first speaker, my prof, actually asked us to introduce ourselves. And a few persons that actually came early and did, I had director of these, assistant director. So we actually have people that report to you. You also report to someone else. So I want to draw your attention, particularly to you, that you have people reporting to you, whilst you also report to someone higher than you. So why do we need to focus on this set of persons to boost their performance? And Steve Jobs had told us that in order to boost their performance or increase productivity, you have to look at them and give them the tools that they need to work with. Because in each of those persons, there's possibility for them to actually deploy their service to you, and by extension to the agency, and of the broader note is to the country, and of course it's going to go on and on. So now I have this on my preamble that as professionals will engage in people management and performance that promotes agency goals and of course employee workforce. But I will want us to shift our focus from, oh, when people work for me, when people work under me, I will appraise them. When people work for me or work with me or work around me, oh, I will go about appraising them, maybe times of promotion or appraiser time. But we want to look at why not you be an enabler. So if I'm saying I'm a director in charge of a director and I have 2, 3, or 10 persons reporting to me, is it possible for me to change my attention from just how I will appraise this set of persons to how I can enable them to boost their productivity, enable them to perform more? Are we all together? So that is one of the preamble that I want us to settle. And the performance that we're talking about is not something that is, unreachable or that's just a buzzword, but it's such that you can relate to the work that we are all called out to do. Some work are neatly cut out for us, while some, it might be by inference. If I don't do this one now, you're supposed to know now. You infer those ones. But they're actually ones from your JD, your job description, is just clearly cut out. So now look at this picture. The man here is you, is me, is a staff, is the employees. Like I said, and like Steve Jobs says, if you provide the tools that they need, they will produce more. They will perform more. So that is the man here that has his briefcase, his tools. Part of education also part of the tools you give to him or her. What we're doing here today is part of the tools that we are getting, maybe from me, from Prof, or even from one another. We will ask questions, we will debate, we will talk, we will go into conversation. That is also part of the tools. So when that man or that woman or that staff, he or she gets it, you will see that they'll be able to naturally deploy it to watering the goals, objectives, the visions and mission of the agency at large. And the more the man has it, the quality of what the man has, it will affect his ability to also water the agency. So if you don't give them the right tools, the fitted tools, the agency will suffer. And by extension, the numerous stakeholders that we have mentioned, and sadly, the nation that actually sets you up and puts you there as an intervention agency will also suffer. So I've mentioned earlier, so let's shift our focus from, they will just do the work and we go big. No, we're not here to appraise them. That has its own place. But we're here to see how we can be an enabler. So when you leave here today, when I leave here today and you get back to your desk, maybe on Monday for instance, you can actually set up a mini meeting in your office. If you sit in an office that house 4, 5, I don't know how big your offices are, but you have office that has 4, 5 persons. You can actually have a mini meeting. How can we enable ourselves to do better? Maybe you have the same job function. It might start as little as, let's try and be in our office, on our desks, on time. When company or agency says resumption is 8 a.m., it's simple, it's basic. What that means is you should be seated, ready to attend to the tasks for the day by 8 a.m. Ideally, that's what it should be. Not that by 8 a.m., a colleague of yours moves from his or her own office and comes to yours, maybe expects you to sign a file or to retrieve a file or a document from you, and you're not settled for the day. So you can actually, how can we stop this trend? It's a trend that is not really good, even though it looks insignificant. You can have that meeting and say, from today, let it be known that once you come to floor, maybe 1A or room 2, in here, our activity starts by 8 a.m. That means everybody will be seated before 8 a.m. That's what it means. So by the time you're settled, probably you decide to get to the office for 7:30, you've sat down, the stress on the road, whether traffic, whether other stress that you've actually brought into office, you'll have enough time to unbundle such and get yourself ready, settled for the work for the day. So what are these capabilities that we'll be delving into? There are diverse range of skill sets that every practitioner or employee or staff must possess in order to effectively manage the workforce and create a safe working environment. So that means I don't have it, it's not going to be an excuse that should stay with us for long. Oh, I don't know about it, it's not going to be an excuse that should stay with us for long. It is what everyone is expected to have. You're not having it is not so much of a problem. We're here to get it. Or maybe you have it, you're just not sure when or how you should not deploy it. We're saying we will get it and we need to put it to use. Remember, I'm emphasizing not just for appraiser issue or purposes, but how we can be enablers of these capabilities. So for the agency to achieve its goals or its growth, the staff must be equipped with skills to fulfill the responsibilities. And once they're able to have that, you'll see that the agency from stage to stage will keep advancing. Sometime last year, we were in a forum like this, and I asked the staff that were there to bring on their phone and actually Google NDDC. I work with data, so I'm actually interested in those metrics and see what is our rating on the global scale. What is the rating? What's your number on the global scale? Maybe in terms of performance. We're not benchmarking it with, even if we want to do with sister agencies in Nigeria, while we're talking in the morning, we mentioned NCDMB. They came after us, if I'm right. They are the young bride. Well, they will learn from our mistakes. you know that the things you're not doing well, they will learn not to do it, because that's actually the essence of, failure. That's what failure does for you. But if you now want to take it outside the scope here, where are we? Where are we? And that question should dawn not only on the board, the management, but also on you. Because you work there. Is your contribution, whether little or great, that will contribute to the overall growth, goals, sustenance of the agency? So where are we? So by extension, where are you? In your JD, your job description, where are you? Your performance, how well against his intended goal. Now job, no, it shouldn't be. They say make a drum. Now it shouldn't be. Prof mentioned culture. And it's something that you have to be trained in. So it's something that is not just anyhow. It doesn't come as a breed that just blew piam. It's something that, so this thing is intended for my growth. Is intended to increase my performance. Then I need to get it. A quick example is when Herbert died. Nobody planned, nobody saw it coming. Did they shut down the institution that he belonged to? And they opened that same day. The next day they opened. They knew who the next man would be. Whether you are ready for it. Nature sekukuma about vacuum. One of the people under him, I thought, the man is just 56. He had maybe 10 years more to be with us. Let's parry and just forget about some things. But see how they were called out. Though in a sad way, but it was an opportunity for one. Opportunity came. Were they ready? They didn't go to import his replacement from outside though. They didn't. One of the set of persons that were working with him, they just, don't worry, before the thing go reach my turn, I go far. That kind of mindset is not healthy for you as an employee that is so interested and concerned about productivity and performance. It's just that now it is now within the context of the agency that you work for. But just cast your mind back. We don't bury the man now. He don't go. Business will go. The environment may be sad, maybe, not all together, but the work of the day will be done. And it will be done by people still within the system. What if you're there and they call you suddenly, the ladder done the shift, so it's now your turn. No? What would be your reaction? You see all those things that they've been telling you to go and get. You now be feeling, I should have taken that man seriously. I should have taken down my Oga seriously. I should. You end up giving yourself more work. When I was working, I had a manager ahead of me. He was a regional manager, then Alaji Fatai Amal. He had this policy. Then there was newspaper everywhere. When he buys newspaper, he will come and tell us as front desk officers, have you bought newspaper for today? We were like, no. So when the guy knew that his gospel wasn't sinking in, you know what he did? Every Monday when we come to work, usually you have meeting to decide what will happen in the week. We'll just call on you randomly, give you a paper, give you 5 or 10 minutes to read it, and explain. He was calling out that critical thinking aspect of us. Till now, I can extra budget of any country because he exposed us to it. You will go to the business part, you will explain. You come to the political part, you will explain. But he wanted a balanced, thorough, well-bred set of employees working with him. He brought that out. As directors, I have people under you or that report to you. How can this message cascade? Remember I said it's not necessarily about appraisers. Enablers. You know the activities that your directorate is about primarily. Can you break it down? And each of them at their level of exposure. Oh, you are good with statistics. You're good with maybe information. Maybe you're good with retention. Probably you're the one that, you're the slow learner. Share the job out amongst them and enable them to, bring out this high level of productivity and performance among them. Is it possible for us to do? Because you don't know when they will need it. When they start watering that part of them, what would they water first? The unit that they belong to. It's a unit. And before you know it, you're probably now going to extend to the directorate. From there to the agency at large. Another example I gave somewhere was, you work with a lot of contractors, maybe 5 or 10,000 of them, and you have heap and heap of files. Maybe our president says, okay, let's have the list of contractors that work on probably a particular project in the last 5 years. And you check online, you don't have that data. Well, no problem. And you need to get running. You need to extract those information out. And you probably go to where you keep your files, archives, and the sight of that file alone is discouraging. But you have someone, even if it's your office assistants, you can have them bring out those files and arrange it in alphabetical order. You're already reducing the madness you're going to face on that job. A to Z. So what looks like this mountain, you now have it broken out into 26, alphabets. And you can easily see, okay, under A we have 10, under B, you understand? It's coming down to, trickle down little by little, and it makes it easier. And the turnaround time will now be faster. So there's a way that we can, amongst ourselves, promote this productivity and performance. And of course, the staff, once they have these tools given to them, they'll be able to advance the course of the agency. So we'll just take a few. Now, I want us also to look at this for a fulfilling public service mission. Now, this is not so clear, but this is a mission of a guy that has something in front of him, and the first thing he did is, his hand on his head, out of maybe dejection, not knowing what to do, couldn't wrap his around the task. Like I mentioned earlier, not knowing what to do is not so much of a problem, but let it not be after this section. Because it's possible, and I mentioned here that as practitioners, you need to adopt objective, forward-thinking, and strategic approach to these capabilities. As simple as bringing that contractor's file of 5,000 of them. Forward-thinking, government wants data on these persons, and you must deliver. And it is your directorate that will give them that information. No other person can do it because they're actually domiciled to you. So when how can we crack this? You're forward thinking. Oh, very easy to do. They are in numbers. You don't even know whether the way they fill the form probably is not first name, but either way. But first of all, break them out. So someone's already thinking, you're bringing out, the approach to it. And you can now align your efforts with the agency's objectives. What do they want us to do as a directorate? Per time, every quarter, we should be able to give report on this. Even when they are not asking you. You know that at one point or the other, this thing will come up. A forward-thinking person, while he or she is handling his or her job, along the way, you should be able to come up with strategies that you can adopt. That if they call you up on a Sunday, as you get to the office on Monday, I want this report. But because you're a forward-thinking person, along the line, while you're doing your work or your tasks, you will have thought of, strategies, modalities, approaches to actually get this information out. And whilst your Oga is on his table of thinking, hey, this thing I have this stuff to do, will he or she be able to do it? The way our people are now, they too think. But because you chose to be different, in no time you will give that report to him or her. and your efforts will have aligned with the agency's objective. You also need to anticipate the future needs and requirements of your workforce. We've mentioned you have people that are working with you. Maybe you know, okay, this one links fast. This one is not so much. You should be able to help your agency as fellow staff to anticipate the future needs of those working with you. I don't know if they move people from directorate to directorate every now and then, maybe in every 1 year or 2 years. Those things are static. They are fixed. So you should be able to, sir, I went for a training. As a matter of fact, the work we're doing here, we're not good in Excel. And we should know Excel. But sir, there's somebody in IT, for instance, maybe in IT or in accounting. Can we just talk to the manager there? Let them come over to our directorate and train us. That is a future need that you have anticipated for your directorates. And by the time your guy is looking at it, okay, that's true, that's nice. As simple, as easy as it is, it's straightforward, it is forward thinking, it's going to align with the agency's objective, and you have actually helped to address that future need. And by extension, you're actually providing, engaging, a meaningful workforce. So by the time you're giving your report the next month to accounts, you're not saddling accounts unit with so much of work to do. Because of the knowledge of Excel that those in IT or accounting section have crossed over to this side, they've exposed you and your other members to when next you're interacting with them. A report from you is going to them. Is now what? Straightforward for them also to carry on their own business. And it will help to promote staff motivation. And there will be progression. There will be career progression. So someone that is in this, the way the guy taught us Excel, very easy. Even on your phone, you can. So the man that thought it was something that was this big, unattainable, because he or she has been exposed to that possibility, she will start thinking of career progression. See, maybe I think I could just day years for another 2-3 years. So I don't have it. That's no. So he or she will begin to think of career progression for him just because you or another person actually made it happen. And then we also need to develop initiatives to optimize the performance of the workforce. And I need to mention this last point: reduce legal risk and safeguard the agency from potential liabilities. One of the person that mentioned in the morning said when he sent out a survey form, and the locality there said, everything I don't do, everything I don't do. If those people decide to take you to court, and you know the way court's issue is in Nigeria, it's back to back, no, they finish. 5 years, 10 years you have. But there's a way we can perform our work, there's a way we can increase our productivity, that at the end of the day, the agency as a whole, we have less legal issues to resolve. Because it's not only a contractor that can take you to court, even the host community, they can take us to court. So we find that what we're talking about or dealing with is bigger than us. It's bigger than just, maybe we just talk and maybe we just work out. No, your action or your inaction is going to come at a cost. But we're pleading that when we listen to talks, trainings like this, let it come at a cost that it will help to reduce legal exposure for the agency at large. Okay, now so this talent management and workforce planning. So we are here now. We've gone through the selection, onboarding, and all that. And we're now part of the system. We're in one unit or the other, or in one state or the other. So we're saying, well, we want to believe that we have correct individuals with their appropriate skill in their appropriate roles, because that will also help to boost the set objectives of the agency. So now what we now need to do is we have to ensure that there's what we call employee satisfaction. You might feel you are underutilized where you are. Maybe after now you probably decide to take it up as a challenge and go for a certification in a course that you know will be beneficial for your job delivery. And you notify your line managers, your directors, or your HOD about it. And after a while, I mean, you've tried to put it to work and you just feel you are underutilized. That staff will not be satisfied. So I want to believe that within the agency, there are routes that you go through and let maybe HR know that, and I have this certification, can I be considered for a redeployment from your directorate to another? I want to believe that you have that already in the system. Am I right? That there's provision to go for a certification, a provision to want to, empower yourself more in terms of soft skill or even technical skill. You can come back and let your managers know about it, and you will be moved to where you can have better job satisfaction. And that we have added help that should be given to help employees to prepare them for future leadership position within the agency. Such help is this. You're going to leave here getting one or two things. Whether one you've not known before or the one you've known but you've not seen its importance, is added help that the agency is giving to you that will help you to deliver and actually get you ready for future leadership. I just mentioned the Herbert Wigwe thing. I'm sure when it happened and it dawned on everyone that they're not going to bring someone from another bank to come and take on the leadership of this place. It has to come from us. Someone will begin to ask him or herself, hey, if it's in land on my table now, you understand, am I really ready? So all those things they've been telling you, do your work well, they start from here, this is a process, this is a procedure, and you just let it go into the wings, not paying attention as a leader, this is what you should do. It's that you now start regretting or you start thanking your God. I'll give you a quick example. Before I left, my branch was attacked. So armed robbers came, blah, blah, blah. They didn't go with any money anyway. The next day, we had to open the office. We had to. And you could see, hey, Madam Tony, please let's not do. I remember all those teaching that they've taught us on risk management. Well, I've not used it for years. But this one just came, bam, and the next day, you just got a mail. How many trainings have you gone for? And listed them. Oh, you did. You went, good, that's nice. We thought, that's nice. Oh, yeah, deploy them now. What if I didn't listen carefully at those training sections? I started asking myself, poor people fear. You see somebody walking, you think, it's one of them. One of the robbers that came the night before to come and rob you. Right? But you have to stand, even though there was fear in your belly. You had to stand, and you had to stay till 4 p.m. before you close for the day. They will ask me, are you not afraid? Will you tell them you're afraid as a leader? You won't. And you're still taking calls, you're attending to somebody, you're sending this, you're doing as if, but inside you're just praying, God, what's the time? So this, like I mentioned earlier, they are little drops of water, they will make a mighty ocean. You may not see it readily now, but in future, a leadership position may just open, wow. And your name will come highly recommended. And you just can't dodge it. Dodge this way, dodge the other way, it's still pointing at you. What will happen? And you can't access your note. Maybe you've even thrown them away. So please, once again, pleading that would internalize these things. Okay, so performance management and accountability is a methodical approach that oversees the performance of, again, teams, individuals, with the aim that objectives are regularly and effectively accomplished. So we don't have people working together going in different directions. There will be confusion. And conflict at that level is not what you want to entertain. So there is need for us to be methodical about whatever approach you want to adopt. It also entails chain of activities, all meant to boost employee performance and aligning with the agencies, which will eventually increase the organizational total productivity and success. like I mentioned, the expression of whatever we're dealing with right now is within the context of our agency. So you can't be going this way, thinking this way, and agency is going south. To adopt, everything has to be, revolve around the agency's productivity and success story. Then for the accomplishment of the agency's overall success, performance management establishes that a thriving workplace where employees regularly feel motivated, engaged, and empowered. One of the trainings we did before, we had feedback from some of the staff that felt, even when I go home, I go back, I review this, I try to be a changed person. When I bring it to bear at the office, you, the managers, the directors, who want to press them down. Why? Maybe they have brighter ideas than yours. You see them as threats. Civil service, they will say, wait for your turn. I want to breathe down on them. And we're Nigerians, not Cameroonians. It's not a good mindset or a good work future to have. You see someone with a go, Nothing when you're talking, don't go shake hand. Now, so the man be. I don't think such things is still should be named amongst us. In this century, your agency will be 25 very soon. I checked online 2000. We're 2024. That means you're 24 years old. This time next year, we'll be counting days or months. In fact, they will set up a committee to celebrate your silver anniversary. And one director, Mr. Director, sir. Director, man. Even you that are not director yet, you can even do worse. That's the sad thing about us. But Prof has told us with different examples in the morning to have a different culture. A work culture. Even if people are doing it. I just told you of someone that opened me up to analytical thinking. Am I not using it today? I don't even know where the man is in the globe. He doesn't know where I am in the globe. What I'm referring to is working culture. The same way someone else will refer to yours. Imagine people referring to your work. Even in their home, they talk about you. Talk about your bosses to your friends, even to your children. You do. You do. So please, we are enablers. Enable people under you or around you to perform, to do more. Not the one that they have brighter ideas and you just want to, bam, on them. It also helps to address areas of improvements and developmental plans. If you feel you're doing so well, they are just, all sort of people. That is who people are. Bring them up. I mentioned if you're in an office of 4 or 5 persons, do meetings amongst yourselves. You can. You can say, okay, this meeting, somebody will take the minute. Are you submitting it to MD? No. But you're helping to improve your people. And you can tell them,